Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to
I
I
will
Will
say
Say
this,
This
though.
Though. And so, Danny, why don't you tell us what we're going to be ranking today?
Yeah, this one was my idea, and in the past we've done quite a few where it's movies that Jimmy has seen and I have not. Like when we were talking about Marvel and Pixar movies, and I've seen a few of those, but not all of either. But today, this is one where I've seen all of them. This is probably going to be a fairly short episode. We are going to talk about movies that are mentioned in science fiction double feature, the song that plays at the beginning of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Correct, and I just want to be clear. So, how many of these? They're like what? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.
And that's including Rocky Horror itself.
Right, because it mentions like Brad and Janet, which I guess counts.
Yep.
I've seen 3 of these. I've seen King Kong, the original King Kong, as well as the 2005 one, but that's not what we're talking about.
No.
The Invisible Man, which is amazing, and also the 4-hour-long Flash Gordon black and white Republic serial. Which, listen, I've never watched a Republic serial that I had a good time watching, but that's just because of the format. Like I can't.
It. Yeah, you're not supposed to watch them.
Yeah,
all
you're
in
not
one
supposed
sitting.
to binge it all in one sitting. But that's like the only way I've ever done it. It's like so painful.
That's not what they're built for.
Um,
Have you not seen Rocky Horror itself?
I've seen the Rocky Horror show.
The stage show.
Yeah.
Not the movie.
Not the
movie with
Rocky
the
Horror Picture Show.
Okay.
No, I've only seen the stage show.
Okay, I've never seen that one.
In which Rocky, I think, is like not a Frankenstein monster-esque, but rather
He's not?
just like a bulky. Yeah, it's very different.
Because he's a handsome Frankenstein monster in the movie.
Yeah,
he's still
but
built in a lab, but he's just like a handsome blonde guy with big muscles.
Yeah, well, from what I've heard is that you don't see stitches or anything. In the
No,
stage
you
show,
don't.
You don't.
Not in the movie.
Not in a movie either. Oh, anyways, well, he's like this very athletic, like gymnast-looking guy in the
Yeah.
version I saw. Is that what he is
In the movie, yeah, he's just like a hunky guy.
Oh, interesting.
He's the rare male example of born sexy yesterday.
Right. I have not. Well, I haven't seen the movie. I only I've heard someone say, "Oh, this is different from the movie where Rocky is different and more
Okay.
like Boris Karloff-esque or something." But I
Some
guess
of his
not.
mannerisms, but not his appearance.
Yeah, he also I think he talks more in the stage show. Like he doesn't talk like.
He can't talk in the movie, but he can sing.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know why I'm doing.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So Danny's seen the movie. My wife loves the movie. My wife made me see the stage show. I think its depiction of transvestites could be
For the 70s, it was a movie that caught on big with queer audiences at the time. Now, maybe this is me being unfair, but I feel like most times I go to a screening of it, it ends up feeling very, very straight. I always see Frankenfurter played by a hot girl.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And all right, it's cool to do some gender blind casting, but they chose the gender blind casting choice they could have made that is the best calculated to make straight men comfortable.
I think it's also the fact that, for right or wrong, it is slightly less uncomfortable to see a woman do the things that Frankenfurter does.
This way, there's no male on male kissing at all of any kind. It's only girl on girl, and us straight dudes are like, hell yeah. And that's not how it's supposed to be. We are not supposed to be comfortable during that show.
I was just talking about all the rape scenes, but because for better or for worse, it is sort of it's less when you see we're sort of trained to when a woman is forcibly, touching some guy's asshole.
Or some lady's asshole.
Yeah, or some lady's asshole. It's more acceptable to show.
Yeah, which is fucked up also.
But it's another reason why it's problematic. But I can see the logic behind that, where it's this is too problematic. We need to make this slightly less problematic.
But it ends up just making it straighter.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that anyway, let's move on, because we're not talking about Rocky Horror that much. The main thing we're talking about is all of these films. And I guess Richard O'Brien is a big fan of 1950s, 30s to early 60s sci-fi.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, all of these films are competently made by studios. There's no Plan 9 in here. There's no Robot Monster in here. These are all, reasonably mainstream movies that had a budget behind them, which is too bad, because it means we're going to get a lot of things around here.
Right. But I mean, we are also ranking them. Well, you're ranking them relative to each other, right?
Yes,
so
I am.
One could be like mediocre, but the best. Or like not mind blowing, but still the best of the bunch. Also, I just want to point out: do we want to come up with like creative names for the tiers?
I thought about that. If we can think, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I mean, not for all of them at least. Like B movie. Sorry, I spelled that wrong.
we just download a poster for the B movie and just put it here, even though it's not in.
According to all the known laws of aviation, I've never seen that film.
Yeah.
If you can think of anything for S, A, C, and D.
Well, I haven't seen the. I don't know. I'm not as big a Rocky. My wife might be able to, but oh, by the way, does he? Do they like say no and stuff and fight back in the movie? I actually haven't seen
In the
that.
movie, there's kind of a token resistance at first, and then he says like, "But it's not all bad, is it?" And they immediately cave at that simple sentence.
Yeah, I know. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's like more consensual in the movie than. But the play was like
It's
very.
still a little dubious in the
Yeah.
movie, but it doesn't come across as a full-on like rape scene. This isn't "I spit on your grave." It's just like
Yeah.
I don't know.
But remember, kids, yes means yes.
And no means no.
Yes, but anyways, so which one do you want to do first?
I think we should start by order that they're mentioned in the song, and we all know that Michael Rennie was ill the day.
The day the earth stood still, but he told us where we stand.
You haven't seen this one?
No.
Okay, so this is a movie. It's directed by Robert Wise, who did West Side Story, Sound of Music, The Haunting, and I think he was a cinematographer or an editor or something on Citizen Kane. He worked on that movie in some capacity. So unsurprisingly, it's pretty darn good.
Okay. So sorry, do they snap and dance and spin around and sing about America?
In Day the Earth Stood Still?
Yeah.
No. It's like this alien, his name is Klaatu, and he comes down and lands in the middle of Washington, D.C., like right in front of the obelisk.
But that is those are similar themes to West Side Story about being like an outsider in America, right?
He wants to be in America.
Yeah,
He's
right?
from space, but he's in America. Yeah, kind of.
Everything's right in America if you're a human in America.
Honestly, like, one thing I gotta give this movie credit for is, like, it's set in Washington, D.C., and there's scenes of big crowds coming to look at his spaceship. And for an early 50s movie, these are some diverse crowds.
Okay.
And at the end of the movie, all these, like, UN scientists gather together for him to tell them about, like, I'm from space. And they're a reasonably diverse bunch of scientists.
Are there,
It's all right for the 50s.
while we're on this subject, just out of curiosity, Puerto Ricans are Americans, right?
Puerto Ricans, yeah.
Yeah, I just realized this West Side Story. It's about Americans and Americans.
It's
like,
about-
just not even immigrants. It's just about Americans and Americans.
Yeah, because I think Puerto Rico had, like, just recently become... I don't know quite what its legal status is, because it isn't a state.
Yeah,
It
it's
probably
like
should
a
be.
territory. Or
It had
something,
just become part of the USA.
right.
And
I don't know.
therefore, suddenly, Puerto Ricans could move to the continental U.S. freely, and a bunch did, and that's kind of what it's about, is
Right.
the
But
tensions of...
But you wouldn't consider them immigrants in
They're
the
not
same
immigrants.
way that like someone from Washington moving to
No,
New
Puerto
York.
Rico's
would
in
be.
America.
Right. Okay. Anyways, just wanted to be clear. But an alien from
Klaatu is fully from them. And yet he is white and speaks English and has a generically American accent.
right, like Superman
Yeah, he's a bit like Superman.
and Jesus.
And like Superman, he is a Jesus figure. Unlike Jesus, he is white and speaks English. But he does die and come back to life. What's that other movie with the alien Jesus? E.T., that's the one.
E.T.'s an alien Jesus.
Yeah,
He dies and comes back to life.
Yeah, he heals the sick.
I haven't
he
seen that movie in so
raises
long.
the dead. He
Wait.
is
So what?
hunted by the authorities.
So what does that make Elliot?
The Apostle Peter.
So the first pope.
I guess so.
So Elliot is the first
I'll
pope.
be right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Day the Earth Stood Still is really, really good, solid sci-fi filmmaking, and it's got kind of a like world peace message and like let's not get Cold War paranoid. It's good. It's solid. It holds up.
And Flash Gordon was there in silver underwear.
Flash Gordon.
It's better than solid. It's great.
I would put it in D just because it's 4 hours long.
That's not how you're supposed to watch it.
I know it's not how, but it's how I watched it. It was like,
To be clear, we're talking about Flash Gordon 1936. If we were talking about Flash Gordon 1980, not only would it go in S tier, it would go so high in S tier that it would throw off the curve and everything else would have to be bumped down one. But we are not talking about that movie. We're talking about the original film serial, which I'm going to give a B, I think. I liked it. It was fun. If you watched it like an episode or two a week until you were done, you would have enjoyed it a lot better.
I mean, I don't even know if I would, because like I told you after we watched it, I was like, oh, like I'm trying to, because like there's a new Flash Gordon comic strip that they're making, and it made me realize just how annoying it must have been to consume like Flash Gordon content back then, because they would release like a 4-panel comic like every daily or something.
Yeah, it was a newspaper strip.
Yeah, like how the hell can you consume a story like that? It's just like, it's like watching a movie like and you get like, like a minute every day. Like why would anyone?
There is a streaming service like that, and it sucks, and everyone hates it.
So it makes me think that even if I were trying to experience the Flash Gordon serial the way it was meant to be experienced, it would just be like.
But like you get 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah,
that's
but
as much as the average TV show.
Yeah, but it's like even the 20 minutes, it's not like because even like a 20-minute TV show usually has a beginning, middle, and end, even if it's part of a longer storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here, from watching
paced differently. That's
it
true.
is paced as no. This is just literally like a little sliver
non-stop.
of a bigger thing that you have to come.
Yeah,
to
but that was the format of the serials, and I think it's only fair to judge it by what it was doing and its own how successful it is at that.
I mean, yeah.
All right, I'll bump it down to C. Because it is hokey as fuck.
I get it. I also, like you said, the one guy, the bearded guy, is like not as good as the 80s one. You found that disappointing?
Nothing will ever be as good as Brian Blessed as Prince Voltan in the 1980 Flash Gordon movie.
Right. Okay.
Also, side note, Richard O'Brien has a cameo, so that's fun. Yeah, Voltan in this is just kind of annoying and he laughs a lot.
Right.
And like he's alright at times, but he needs to chill the fuck out.
Because I think, before we move on, I think that back then, if I had to guess, like the sort of like movies weren't taken as seriously as an art form, I guess.
Serials certainly weren't.
Serials weren't.
Full films, maybe, probably not.
Because I think like the Flash Gordon was more like, oh, you go there, and then you just like, it just plays on, and you don't really give a crap about what came before or after. It's just, oh, there are people sword fighting.
Yeah,
you don't really care about the overall
each episode
story.
will start with text crawl informing you, like, here's what happened last time. So if you miss one, you can just dive right back into it. And the stories are extremely straightforward.
Right.
They have a lot of twists and turns, but they're nonetheless very linear.
So it's not like today when it's like, oh, I need to watch all the show, every episode of a show in order to.
And part of that was just the technology of the time, because home media didn't exist. You can only see a movie or a serial as it is being shown. Mm-hmm. So they kind of. This was through no fault of their own. They kind of had to write on the assumption that you might not have seen the last one.
Right.
Nowadays, we can just go on the streaming service and watch them in whatever, at our own schedule. But you couldn't do that then.
Yeah. Which is also kind of weird, because this is like the 30s, right? But everything else is from the 50s and 60s?
Yeah, this is one of the earliest, this and King Kong, and Dr. X is from the 30s.
Right.
Most of these are from the 50s. We got a bit of, I think The Invisible Man is early 40s, is that 41, 42?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And Day of the Triffids is like 1962. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is one of the earlier things in here.
Okay.
All right.
Claude Rains was the Invisible Man.
Invisible Man, you've seen this one.
Yes, I would put this in S tier if this was me. But then again, I haven't seen like all of them. But
I think I agree with you.
It is honestly one of the best movies I've ever seen.
It is certainly one of the best Universal horror films.
I mean, when I say best, I mean like best, like, of its genre, like horror. But like, it's also like this. It holds up so well.
Yeah, and part of that is just that it is a very mostly faithful adaptation of an excellent book.
Right.
And part of that is because Claude Rains fucking rules.
Yes, this is like they got the perfect person, because like he's like invisible, so because you can't see him, you need like a very convincing vocal performance. Mm-hmm. And he does such a great job. He's like the best like fucking asshole.
He's such a dude.
He's the loudest, most conspicuous.
Even worse in the book.
Yeah.
In the book, like the first couple chapters, you're kind of on his side. I talked about this recently in a book talk on my YouTube channel. You're kind of on his side for the first few chapters, and then as it goes on, you're just like, I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah.
I want him to die. He's like really racist, and he runs around nude, and he like drove his father to suicide. Like, fuck this guy.
And in the movie, he like causes a train crash.
I think that's in the book too.
Wait, why did he even do that?
Fucking awful.
What did he
Because
gain
he
from
decided he wanted a reign of terror. He wanted people to be scared of him.
He had absolutely no goal other than I am going to make people scared of me.
For the power that comes with people being scared of him.
Oh, so he's like a fucking incel. He's like,
I guess.
He's like the...
And the movie also gave him a fiancée.
Right.
In the book, there's no reference to him either being... There's no reference at all to him having any kind of love life, or to him being bitter about not having one.
Right. I think like a lot of the Invisible Man like remakes and reimaginings after this movie like really play up the like the sexual aspect of it, like the sort of like, because I know like the Kevin Bacon one, he like straight up
Hollow Man?
Yeah, he raped someone.
Yeah, that's in the comic, but not the movie of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as well.
Right.
One of many ways that the movie is actually better. I said it. It's hokey as fuck, but it's better than the comic.
Yeah. And also even in the 2021.
Yeah,
it's
he's an
like
abuser in that
he's
one?
a straight up like abuser.
That movie is very not the book,
Yeah.
but it's good.
It is good.
It does its own thing and it works.
But I still feel like Claude Rains is the best, just because he's like the most entertaining to like.
Probably.
You know, he like.
Have you ever seen The Invisible Man Returns?
No.
It's Vincent Price, but you wouldn't know it because he's not doing the Vincent Price voice. He's just like, oh, I'm scared. I have to get out of here.
Oh,
he's just like a guy.
Is he the Invisible Man?
Yeah.
But
He's so you can't. And his voice is also.
why would he be scared?
Because he's being hunted.
But he's invisible.
Yeah. So he has to get out of here before they like catch him by walking in a line, and they've got dogs. He's on the run for in this one he's the good guy.
Right.
It's a guy who's like he's been injected with the formula that Claude Rains made in this movie to help him get out of jail, and then they can try to like find the real killer, and it's this whole like suspense. It's The Fugitive, but he's invisible.
Right.
And it's good.
I just want to point out that now you mentioned it. The one problem I have with the Invisible Man, like the original, the one we're talking about that we put in S tier, is that at the end he's like walking in the snow, and for some reason his footsteps are that of like someone wearing shoes.
Yeah.
Like it should be like, you know, the footsteps of someone bare feet, because that's the whole point. It's like, oh, I'm invisible. I have to be naked to.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, it's
there's the
he's
great
clearly-
scene when he's like pulling off all of his clothes.
Yeah.
And there's nothing underneath. It's for the 40s. That's a good effect.
Yeah, we should
He's strewing
like
clothes behind him.
for the 2010s. It's a good effect, honestly. Like, I mean, like honestly, like it's better. Like I
You
think
could do
it's
it better
more-
today, because there's like the clothes that are on the other side of his head suddenly aren't there. You can't
Are they?
see like the inside of the hat.
Oh, I
no.
didn't. I didn't even notice. I was just like fully buying. Oh no, this guy's invisible.
It's
They
good
cast
for the
an
40s.
invisible person.
It's really good for the time. You could do it better today, but that's
Yeah.
that's not fair
And,
to hold that against the film.
And Danny in this video is now going to edit in a clip that explains how they did the effect, just because I do not know.
Any portion of the actor that was to disappear was covered in black velvet, then photographed against a black velvet backdrop. When combined with a separate shot of the normal set, the illusion of invisibility was startling.
Then something went wrong for Fay Ray and King Kong.
Wait, what went wrong?
He died.
Oh,
I don't want to spoil it for you, but he dies.
see, here's a question: it's been a while since I've seen this. Does Anne like King Kong in the original?
No.
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 So she's just straight up a kidnapped victim.
Yeah.
There's no like.
That's something that gets added in like the 70s movie. It might be slightly older in like some of the 60s like Japanese stuff, but I don't know.
I do. So I only watched the original because I saw like the 2005 one with my parents, and I loved it so much, and I was like, hey,
It's good.
Let's watch.
It's
the
too
original.
long, but it's good.
I mean, it doesn't feel like there are things that you care about as an adult that you don't as a kid, and I was like,
Very
I was
true.
like, oh my god! Like I stepped out of the theater after 3 hours. I was like, wait, I'm in friggin' Toronto, Canada. I thought I was escorted off to,
New York
Skull
in the
Island
1930s.
and then New York and but
I think the best King Kong movie is still the one that is just called Skull Island.
right,
With
yeah,
Tom
yeah,
Hiddleston.
Kong Skull
That
Island.
movie is so good.
It is a good.
It's better than the original, but the original, I'm still going to put in S tier.
Yeah, I think I would put an 8 here, but like just because I feel like the Invisible Man is like a step above it.
I
So
don't
that's,
think
like,
I
mine.
agree.
You don't agree?
Because this movie is such a game changer in terms of special effects and fantasy adventure movies.
Yeah, but I don't
And
like
monsters
But
and
in terms of
dinosaurs.
actually watching it though, because okay, well, I
Oh
mean,
no,
'cause
the original King Kong is so much fun.
it is.
It
Okay.
is.
I haven't seen it in a while.
bit racist in places, but
Not as racist
Not
as
as
the
racist as the
2005
one.
in which Peter Jackson turns the African natives into like orcs,
basically,
like.
I don't think they're supposed to be African. I think it's supposed to be somewhere in the East Indies.
But they're played by like.
Yeah, they're played by black
Yeah,
people.
yeah. So.
They're for the 30s. It's like, all right, this is a little dated, but like it's the 30s. It could be so much worse. And then Peter Jackson went ahead and demonstrated how much worse it could be.
I just want to point out.
Also, there's the Chinese cook on the ship.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, he's like, his English isn't great, but he's like a character who has like observations to make, and he's intelligent, and he's played by an actual Chinese guy.
Right. I just want to point out before we move on, Jack Driscoll is named Jack because there's King Kong and he's Jack, right? Because he's like cards.
Oh!
Like, anyways, I just want to point that
I
out.
thought it might have been like a Jack the Giant killer, or
No,
because he doesn't kill the giant, so.
because he's like a foil to King. He's like it's like this love triangle between Anne and King Kong and Jack.
No, because they didn't settle on naming the movie King Kong until it was already in post-production.
But it still works.
It was just going to be. It does work, but it's
Yeah.
not the intent. It was just going to be called Kong, the Eighth Wonder of the World.
Then at a deadly pace, it came from outer space.
What does this movie have in common with Bodies, Bodies, Bodies?
Oh, don't tell me. Is the ending that there is nothing and everyone was just delirious and killing each other?
Oh, you spoiled Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Did you watch Bodies?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. But I mean,
No,
you
what they
brought
both,
up Bodies.
what they
Bodies,
both have in
Bodies.
common is a deadly pace.
Is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies the only movie that you know that has?
Yeah, well, he doesn't die in the Hobbit movies, and he's in The Fall, but he like breaks his leg in that. But he
Also,
lives.
you know, deadly means someone who causes.
No, but he is a dead Lee Pace.
Oh.
It came from outer space.
What do you like about it? Because I haven't seen it. Sell it to me.
All right, so this is a movie where, do you know Richard Carlson?
Richard Carlson. No.
Do you ever see Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Oh, it's me.
Tormented?
Should have seen it. I have not.
All right. He's an actor. He's in a bunch of these movies. He has big, like, good-natured nerd energy.
Right.
But he's also handsome, and he's this astronomer who lives in, I want to say, New Mexico, somewhere in the southwestern deserts, and he's got this absurdly hot fiancée played by Barbara Rush,
Right.
and he spots a weird sphere falling out of the sky, and it lands in a canyon, and is covered in a rock slide, and he runs into town screaming it came out of the sky, but nobody believes him, and he can't find it because it's covered in a rock slide, and then weird things start happening around town.
Oh, you're actually selling this to me really well. Don't spoil it. I want to.
I won't.
But
And
is it good?
he's getting messages from alien intelligences, and he doesn't know, like, is this real? If it is, can I trust it?
I'm adding this to my watch list.
It's
right
good.
now.
I'm getting it an A tier.
Oh, but not as good as The Invisible Man.
no, it's not that good. It's very good.
I feel like okay. So you're not just putting Invisible Man and King Kong in here because they're the most like iconic. right?
They're probably the best movies on this list.
Okay, so
Spoiler
also-
alert, they will be the only S tiers because we're not talking about Flash Gordon 1980.
Okay.
Oh, they might not be the only S tiers. We'll get there. But it came from outer space is very good.
Right.
I highly recommend it to anybody. It also has like the perfect setting for a 50s sci-fi movie, a small desert
Yes.
community.
and paranoia and stuff. And
Yeah.
There's
There's some Cold War subtext going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also when we finally see the aliens, there's creature design from Millicent Patrick, who created the Creature from the Black Lagoon as well, and the Metaluna mutant in This Island Earth, which is an okay movie.
Right.
Millicent Patrick, underrated creature designer.
So what's something that's bad about it? Say something bad about this movie.
It can be a little slow in places.
Be a little slow in places. Okay, well I'm taking it off my watch list though, because that sounds horrible. I'm kidding. I'm just very susceptible to
The ending might be a little predictable now, but at the time it was probably pretty startling.
Oh, fuck. You mean like they were the Russians?
Maybe metaphorically.
Okay.
It doesn't just turn out we see the aliens and they're like, would you like some borscht, comrade? And he's like, oh god, it was Soviets
Wait,
the whole time.
1950 50 what?
Let me look this up.
Oh wait, I have it all.
Early 50s anyway.
Oh, 53. So the exact year when Stalin died. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that the first person in the English-speaking world to know that Stalin had died was a radio operator who was he was listening on the Russian radio and translating into English to share with the English-speaking world, and that radio operator's name was Johnny Cash. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Johnny Cash was the first person.
Johnny Cash, the musician.
Yes, that Johnny Cash.
So he worked
Not a
as
coincidence. Yeah.
He worked as a radio, whatever you said.
Radio Russian translate.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wild.
Did he make a song about it?
Not that I know of. This could be apocryphal. I've heard this story. It might not be true.
And the first person to hear that Stalin was dead was Bigfoot.
I'll put an annotation box telling you if this is not true.
Okay, I mean that has nothing to do with it came from outer space other than the year of release.
Absolutely nothing.
Okay,
Yeah, it came from outer space.
Radio.
Also,
radio waves,
it's based on a story by Ray Bradbury.
Oh,
or maybe he wrote the screenplay. I think he wrote the screenplay. So that's cool. And it's directed by Jack Arnold, who did a lot of the better 50s sci-fi movies.
Okay.
Yeah, came from outer space. A tier.
Dr. will build a creature.
So it's like Frankenstein's monster, but like.
So, despite the lyric, Dr. X never builds a creature
What?
in this movie. I know.
Wait,
Richard
what?
O'Brien lied to us.
So what's it about?
So, there's this serial killer terrorizing the city. It's kind of like a mix of noir and horror and like psychological
Right.
thriller. It's the serial killer is terrorizing the city, and the police are pretty sure that whoever it is someone working at this specific research hospital. And Dr. X is the administrator of that hospital. And every single one of the doctors working under him is like obviously evil. There's like the guy with the hook for a hand, and the weird German guy with the big scar, and the weird perverted guy who's really into pornography, 30s pornography, because it's pre-Hays Code, you see.
Wait, so this movie's from the 30s?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. So this.
It's got Fay Wray in it from King Kong.
Oh, sorry. So there's a doctor with a hook for a hand.
Yeah. He's not a surgeon, don't worry.
Okay, I'm just saying that sounds like I mean, guess if he's like a brain doctor, maybe like a therapist.
Oh, that'd be worse.
No, you know what I mean, like a therapist, like.
Maybe. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, all of them, you meet them and you're just like, he's the killer. No, it's him. No, it's him. Oh God, they're all creepy.
Oh, and the twist is it's none of the creepy ones. They're all red herrings.
I won't tell you.
Okay,
but within the first 10 minutes, you realize these guys all have to be red herrings. It's probably Dr. X.
It's probably the title character.
The only normal one who is also the title character.
Oh yes, the movie called Dr. X is about Dr. X. Okay.
Do you want me to spoil who it is for you?
No, it's okay. I'm gonna watch this. I swear to God, if it is not Dr. X,
It's a B tier.
if it's not Dr. X, I will lose my fucking shit.
Noted. B tier. It's pretty good. I liked it. It's not the best thing ever. It's pretty good.
Is his name? Sorry. So his name in universe
It's like
is
short
Dr.
for
X.
Xavier or something. You know, like Professor X.
Yeah. Okay. Is there another name? I guess he could be like Dr.
There was a movie
Xerxes.
called The Revenge of Dr. X, but it is not a sequel
So
to
then
this movie.
Dr. X must be the bad guy if he's getting revenge.
Well,
right?
the funny thing about The Revenge of Dr. X is that Dr. X isn't in it.
Oh,
No
so
one
it's-
is getting their revenge for anything, but he does build a creature.
Oh, wait. So does that mean we're watching the wrong movie?
No, this
No,
is the
because-
good one.
No. Because according to the song lyrics, if it's saying Dr. X built, that means he's talking about the second one.
Revenge of Dr. X is not a sequel to Dr. X.
Yeah, but that's
All right.
my point.
If Revenge of Dr. X were on here, we'd have to add an extra F tier just to put it on here because that movie fucking
Okay.
sucks.
Can we do that? Okay, and we're back. So yeah,
We are
so
back.
we've added a Revenge of Dr. X here just to cover our bases in case the lyrics actually referring to the sequel.
And I'm pretty sure it's a reference to the original Dr. X, which is a much better known film in that kind of circle. And Revenge of Dr. X seems too terrible to be mentioned in the lyrics of Rocky Horror because it is very, very bad.
Right.
But regular Dr. X, B tier, it's pretty good. It's got a cool noirish thing going.
Cool.
And Francis dies in Forbidden Planet.
Did you know that, Jimmy?
I do not know who Anne Francis or Forbidden Planet or stars.
You know who
I
else?
don't know what these
You know
words
who
mean.
else stars in Forbidden Planet?
Who?
Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, as like a young Leslie.
Yeah, young Leslie Nielsen and Anne Francis, and the real star of the movie, Robbie the Robot.
Right.
It's a B.
Okay.
You never saw this one?
No. Should I? I know Robbie. I've heard. I watched Futurama. I've seen
Yeah.
references to Robbie the robot.
References to him on The Simpsons, too. When
Yeah.
the school couldn't afford the rights, and they got Robbie the automaton.
Robert the robot.
Yeah, Robbie's great. He's the best part of the movie. There's some beautiful set designs and some great matte painting backgrounds, and all the spectacle for a 50s movie is there, and it's a lot of fun. It's basically The Tempest in space.
Right, I've heard that.
Yeah, they took a lot of cues from The Tempest. It's not Shakespearean dialogue, and it's kind of it's very sexist in some ways.
Does it end with the director coming, or like a director surrogate?
I wish.
Breaking a stick or something, and
I'll drown my books. No,
the
alas.
director saying, "I will never make another movie after this one."
I think the planet blows up or something. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Because The Tempest is I think it's like Shakespeare's last play or something, and it's like
There's some debate. I think it might be The Winter's Tale.
yeah, but it's like one of his last ones, and people
One of.
read the ending as what's the main character? Prospero is
Yeah.
represents Shakespeare and how he's like, oh, I am retiring from writing, and so he's like breaking his.
I think people are too keen to read autobiographical details into William Shakespeare plays.
Yeah.
Like, you follow that road too far, and then suddenly you're like, how could he have known about falcons if he wasn't the Earl of Oxford? Which is the dumbest argument I've maybe ever heard.
Right, because people know about falcons.
Yeah, they're not a secret. Like, okay, Shakespeare makes a lot of falconry metaphors and imagery, but that doesn't mean he knew he was a nobleman who went falcon hunting. That just means he thought falcons were cool.
Yeah.
And I think falcons are cool. I saw one the other day.
How could Shakespeare have known about robots if he didn't? If
How
he
can
didn't
mirrors
live
be
in-
real if our eyes aren't real? Yeah, Forbidden Planet's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Like, is it a comedy?
Very
Like, is
dated.
it-
No, it's a sci-fi adventure film.
Right.
Apparently, a lot of kids at the time found it very scary
When
because the monster, what shows up at the end, that I guess is sort of a little bit of Caliban, a little bit of Sycorax.
When you say dated, do you mean like problematic by today's standards?
Yeah, there's some of the. He keeps telling the Anne Francis to, like, you've got to cover yourself up and wear more clothes. You'll tempt
But-
the men to sin.
But here's the thing: is they're in like a friggin' space,
Space.
right? I mean, yeah.
They're on a planet.
Okay.
A
I guess,
forbidden
yeah.
planet.
Okay. I mean, I was gonna say like, is she like doing like spacewalks in like a bikini? And
No,
like,
she's on
oh,
the planet.
you should maybe put on.
She's got like a pet tiger or something. I think it's a clone tiger that,
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
that the Prospero science man built for her.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Which is funny because I'm looking at the poster right now. She's like in like a ripped friggin' sci-fi.
Yeah, and Robbie is carrying her in standard, like, Frankenstein monster carries dead girl pose.
Yeah.
Which never happens in the film, and Robbie never turns evil and is solidly a good guy.
Yeah.
The main thing he spends most of the movie doing is just making whiskey,
Right.
which he can do inside of himself. He's great.
Tarantula.
I knew Leo G. Carroll was over a barrel when Tarantula took to the hills.
I just want to point out, it'd be so funny if one of these other remaining movies was so bad that we put it in Revenge of Dr. X.
Almost. Tarantula is... So Leo G. Carroll is a scientist who's working with, like, nutrient growth hormones and stuff.
Right.
He's trying to get, like, bigger versions of animals that he thinks will solve, like, the food crisis. Now, of course,
But-
those animals would require to be fed more.
Yeah, I know. I just want to point out the obvious flaw in that.
Yeah, so
is that
meat is actually very inefficient.
Yeah,
way of,
yeah.
He should be working with plants. He does create a giant guinea pig, which is adorable,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, he also decides to try it out on a tarantula,
Right.
which escapes and gets way too big.
because if there's one thing that people love eating, it's tarantulas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are places where they eat barbecued tarantulas.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna solve the food problem. Let me enlarge.
I'm gonna become food
Let
to
me-
the tarantula.
Let me enlarge this thing that like most of the world doesn't eat and is also mostly like shell and water
Yeah.
with like barely any meat. Yes, that's how I'm gonna solve the.
Also,
although
like-
to be fair, I just realized enlarging insects. There are a lot of insects to enlarge. That
Spiders
actually is a
aren't an
pretty
insect,
smart
but-
idea. You know what I mean?
But-
enlarging bugs.
But
Enlarging, like,
they
small
would
things.
die.
Yeah.
Because bugs don't have lungs. They
Oh, yeah.
breathe through their sides. It's something they can
Well,
only do because they're so small.
I mean,
they breathe
you know,
like right through their
if
skin.
you enlarge any animal, they will die because of. That's
That
why
is-
Godzilla mathematically cannot exist.
Yeah, that is also true. The square cube law. But it's especially true for bugs.
Right.
And if you look back in the paleontological record, there were times when the Earth had more oxygen in its atmosphere. The Carboniferous era. It's like
Eristor, Taylor Swift.
It's like pre-dino times.
Right.
There's the Carboniferous, and during that time period, you got dragonflies the size of eagles, and you got centipedes the size of cars, and that couldn't
Beetles
happen.
the size of beetles.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm a beetle. It's the Carboniferous era.
Oh, I meant like a beetle in the car. Anyways,
Oh yeah. Spiders as big as your head. You know, that kind of thing. It was the atmosphere was different and could support it, but it can't now.
Right.
Anyway, the
Thanks,
point is, there's a
George
giant
W.
spider
Bush.
stomping around in the deserts of the American Southwest, because of course it's the Southwest, and it's nom-nom-nomming on people, and you know how they kill it at the end?
I mean, I'm assuming like bug spray or something.
Napalm. But the napalm is dropped by a pilot played by Clint Eastwood,
Oh,
who wasn't famous yet. This is one of his very first films. I think it might be his first.
interesting.
Some of the shots they use like an actual spider on a miniature set, and
Yeah,
it looks
I
pretty
think
good.
that's cool, yeah.
Other ones they use like this not very good chroma key effect, and it looks like it has holes in the sides.
Right.
See, it's
Okay.
fine.
So I forgot to ask, why is Forbidden Planet lower than the People in A tier?
It's just not quite as good.
Not
Like
quite as good?
it is pretty good, but it's kind of very much reliant on big blockbuster action spectacle
Okay.
of a sort that is less impressive today.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have the smart. Despite being based on a Shakespeare play, it is not as smart as the timely social commentary of these two films, and it isn't the stone cold classic of these two films.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
And what about Tarantula? What makes it Flash Gordon level?
It's just a B movie.
Just a B movie?
It is a competently
It's
made.
a B movie, which is why it's in C.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
they never made any killer B movie or giant B movies that I'm aware of. They've made.
Wait, it's not a B movie. It's about spiders.
Yeah, I know. They've never made any movies about giant bees I'm aware of. There've been plenty of movies about bees who kill people, but they're all normal-sized bees.
I think the reason why there's movies about spiders and ants is because you can do like miniatures with that, whereas things that can fly,
Yeah.
it's harder.
But in the giant ant movie, Stone Cold Classic, by the way, would have been S tier. They don't use real ants. They use puppetry.
Yeah, but even so, like, it's hard to do a bee through puppetry. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because you have to get the motion correctly to make it believable. Whereas an ant,
And
it's just-
all the laws of aviation.
yeah, and it's impossible for them to fly. So,
You like jazz?
anyways,
Yeah, and on the other hand, they did make the deadly mantis, and it can fly.
yeah. But did the mantis fly in the?
Yeah.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah, not all the time. But
Yeah, but did they use like how did they do it? Did they have like a miniature town where the mantis was flying around?
no, it was a puppet. They built a bunch of puppets.
okay.
They built a full-size
But
puppet.
I would
of the
argue,
mantis
I would
for the
argue
movie.
that works better because most people do not know what mantises look like when they fly.
Oh, that's true.
Whereas bees, everyone could be like, oh, that's clearly not a bee flying. That's
You could be right.
like,
And also, a mantis in flight is, I think, just easier to animate because
Yeah.
their flight is very just like. Zzz.
why can't we go back? Like, forget AI, forget CGI, forget all this newfangled special effects. Let's go back to abusing animals in miniature sets. Can we do that? Can we just go
You
back
would
to...
love 1 million BC. That is a reptile snuff film. Not to be confused with 1 million years BC, which is way better.
Not to be confused with 65, which is when Adam Driver fights dinosaurs.
And some kind of big Rausu kid or something.
Yeah. Not to be confused with 9, which is about, like, CGI puppets.
Not to be confused with 9, which is a musical starring Daniel Day-Lewis.
Not to be confused with 9, which is something that Adolf Hitler says
German
a
word
lot.
for no. Not to be confused with 10,000 BC, which is that Roland Emmerich caveman movie about mammoths building the pyramids.
Not to be confused.
See how long we can keep this going.
Not to be confused with the Simpsons movie, which is an animated movie based on the TV show The Simpsons.
Not to be confused with 6, the musical about Henry VIII's wife. All right, we're done.
I wasn't even going for numbers by the end of it. Anyways,
Yeah, Tarantula is a competent B movie.
Is this
Well,
good content?
while we're on the subject of Deadly Mantis, I want to say it's not very good, but the
Okay.
effects for it are actually pretty solid.
Do you want to add
for what
it?
it
Well,
was.
no, we can't. We can't add another
No.
tier, otherwise it'll mess up the.
Deadly Mantis, if it were here, probably would have been a C or a D.
Okay.
The effects are pretty good, but the rest of it they're not that good.
And I really got hot when I saw Jeanette stop fight a Triffid that spits poison and kills.
Day of the Triffids. The book, I haven't read it in a long time. I remember liking it, but finding the end a little slow. However, oh yeah, by the way, if you're wondering what the fuck's a Triffid, they're these big plants that can walk around and they spit poison and kill. And they fight Jeanette Scott.
So were they made by someone who's like, oh, I'm going to enlarge plant life to defeat the world and end world hunger?
No, well, maybe. In the book, the movie makes it very clear that, like, this is the Soviets' fault. The book kind of leaves it ambiguous that, like, maybe they're from space.
Sorry, what the fuck did the Soviets do to
Oh,
lead to plants, giant plants spitting out? Like,
I don't know. Some Soviet shit.
What the fuck were the Soviets up to?
You know how in The Lion King, like, when Scar is the king, suddenly there's a drought?
Yeah.
And the moment Simba takes the throne back, it rains and everything is solved?
Yeah.
That. So communism just generates killer plants.
Oh, no, you know why? It's because the Green New Deal is communism.
Oh.
It's because they're trying to fight climate change.
Fucking communists, man. So Day of the Triffids movie, I didn't care for it. It has this, like, weirdly, like, mean-spirited libertarian quality where, like, the hero actively refuses to save lots of people that he could absolutely at least try to help.
Oh, because
Every time someone's like, please take me with you, he's like, get away from me. And we're supposed to completely be on his side. Because, like, also there's this other thing that's happened is that, like, this meteor shower has turned everyone who saw it blind.
Right.
And he was, like, in hospital with bandages over his eyes, so he couldn't see it. And every time a blind person's like, I need help, he's like, fuck you. And at the beginning, this one guy's like, I'm blind now, and, like, leaps out a window and kills himself. It's like,
Wait, that's literally Bird Box. Have you seen Bird Box?
no, do people kill themselves because they are blind?
Well-
Because disability is a fate worse than death?
Well,
Because this movie is really fucking
No, but
ableist.
similar themes where it's like, so Bird Box is about people who, like, there are these things that come from somewhere, and if you look at them, it makes you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
So people wear blindfolds and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's this whole part where it's like, oh, these people let in the wrong person to their house, and then they fall apart because of that, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't have helped that person.
Oh, all right.
Anyways, okay, so Dave Triffids is basically like Ayn Rand, but less ridiculous, is what I'm hearing.
The movie, yes. The book, I haven't read it in a while. Maybe I missed these themes because I was a teenager, but I feel like the book was a lot more pro-social, let's say. And there's this whole thing where they're finding all these people, and, like, people who can see, and they're like, we're gonna do our best to, like, help as many people here as we can, and we're gonna try to set stuff up. But in hindsight, it did treat blindness as basically being a zombie, at least a little bit. Not as much as this one where, like, everyone who's blind it's
This is the pre-Ray Charles
gross.
universe. This is pre-Ray Charles's America. Pre-Stevie Wonder.
it ends up
Anyways.
being a very gross film. Didn't like it.
But not as bad as Revenge of Dr. X.
No, like, it was competent. It just was nasty and mean.
Okay.
This is one of the more oblique references in the lyrics to science fiction double feature.
Dana Andrews said prunes gave him the ruse, and passing them used lots of skill.
Wait, what the fuck? What is this movie called?
It's called Night of the Demon.
And it's about prunes?
No.
What?
But it is about runes.
Wait, but what? Okay.
It's a pun on, like, gave him the runs. But it's like
Oh.
runes. And it's based on a story called The Passing of the Runes. Or is it The Casting of the Runes? I think it's Passing.
Because passing of the runes sounds like a poop joke. Like, I'm passing.
I'm gonna go
the
pass some
prunes.
runes.
I'm gonna go pass.
No, it's runes like the little stones with the symbols carved in them.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna pass some runes.
And, like,
pass little stones.
once the evil Niall McGuinness passes you some runes, the demon's gonna come get you.
Oh, so it's like puff, puff, pass, like that sort of pass.
No, it's more like It Follows, but without sex.
But But after we finish ranking these, we need to go through this, and Danny's going to say which modern day movie resembles these.
Yeah, let's do that.
Anyways, so It Follows without the sex. So where would you put it?
It's really good, but I'm just going to put an A tier.
This is a pretty top-heavy...
It is.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, they have to be good to be referenced in, like, later, right? Mm-hmm.
Or they have to be hilariously bad.
Yes.
Like this fucking trash. Yeah, Night of the Demon, the only thing that holds it back is that, like, so the main guy is this, Dana Andrews is the actor. He's this, like, professional debunker, and he's working with these, like, parapsychologists and other, like, dudes who are trying to figure out, like, what's really going on. It can't be magic. There's got to be something. One of whom is this guy from India who is played by a white man in brownface. And if it weren't for that, I might have bumped it up to S tier.
That'd be kind of like, I mean, you sure you'd bump it up to like Invisible Man and King Kong level? Like,
it's really good.
It's really good.
It's
Okay.
really good. Otherwise, and the other problem, which I'm very forgiving of,
because there's racism in King Kong too.
Oh yeah, there is.
And there's also Invisible Face in The Invisible Man, which is offensive to.
And this isn't in the movie, but in the book, the Invisible Man like makes anti-Semitic comments about his landlord, and he says the N-word at one point.
Okay.
And part of me is wondering, like, is this just because it was written a long ass time ago, or is H.G. Wells genuinely trying to make me hate this guy by making him racist?
Well, no, because isn't the book about like the black man who like doesn't feel seen by society?
No.
The Invisible Man, right? About the invisible, about how like invisible.
In fact, we're told he's in the book he's supposed to be almost an albino.
Okay.
See, he's very white.
See, that was a joke about because there's a book called Invisible Man by Ralph Ellens.
Yeah, Night of the Demon's pretty good. It's very good. The director fought with the studio about one thing because the producers were like, "You gotta see the demon. You gotta
see the demon.
You gotta see the baby, Jerry." It's on my wallpaper right now.
Oh, cool.
You can't see it. I'll put a picture up in the video.
No, don't let them see it.
All right.
Tease them with it.
It's very scary. The studio were insistent that the demon show up. The director and Dana Andrews, and I think Niall McGuinness, who plays the bad guy, all agreed that, like, no, it's better if you never see it, because then you got, like, this ambiguity, like, is it real or is it just inside the characters' heads? And the studio were like, no, we're showing the goddamn demon. And I think it probably would have been better if you never saw it, but it is a really cool monster design, and it's a pretty good effect, mostly. And it looks cool the way he appears, so I can't get too mad.
Okay.
Yeah, very good movie. A tier.
But when worlds collide, said George Powell to his bride, I'm gonna give you some terrible thrill.
George Powell is the producer of this movie. He also made the 53 version of War of the Worlds. Heretical opinion here. I don't like his War of the Worlds movie. I don't like... This is me being a nerd about the book. Have you read War of the Worlds? All right, if you like Invisible Man.
I'm shaking my head.
Yeah. War of the Worlds is H.G. Wells. It's great, and it's got like social commentary on imperialism, and there's a lot of stuff in there about like germs and whatnot. And the movie decides, no, it wasn't that the aliens die of the cold because they don't belong on this planet, and it's a parallel to British soldiers dying of malaria in Africa. No. Jesus did it. And it's just like everything that is dumb and reactionary about Cold War Hollywood in a way where the movie is very critical of the society it comes, or the book is very critical of the society that produced it. The movie is very affirming, very...
Sorry, to be
we
clear...
will win the Cold War because God's on our side.
To be clear, Jesus is what stops the alien invaders.
It is heavily implied.
So Jesus is anti-colonial. Jesus is like a far leftist, radical, anti-imperialist. I mean,
it's more just that Jesus loves America in the movie.
Oh, okay.
They're all praying really hard, and then the aliens
'Cause I was gonna
die,
say-
and then the hero's like, "We prayed, it was a miracle."
because I was gonna say that would be like, pretty sure that's like an accurate description of Jesus.
Yeah, but there's only one movie that got that right: Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter.
Right.
In which Jesus is a friend to the lesbian community of Ottawa and saves them from vampires. It's a very stupid film. When Worlds Collide has similarly religious themes, but they're less obtrusive, partly because it's not an adaptation of a book by a socialist, and so the religious themes work a little better. So the premise of When Worlds Collide is that, like, these astronauts have spotted, like, this star and planet that are hurtling towards the Earth and are going to just fuck up all of our shit. So there's no chance of just, like, training some oil workers to be astronauts, drilling a hole in and planting nukes while Aerosmith plays. No. Earth's fucked. So instead, what this is a movie about is building spaceships to take us to land on that planet after it passes Earth and just settle there again. You remember at the end of Doctor Strangelove when he's like,
We would be able to preserve the nucleus of human society with select individuals.
it's basically that.
Was Mel Blanc doing a Doctor Strangelove impression? No, that can't be right.
Dr.
Doctor Strangelove doing a Marvin the Martian impression?
No?
Okay,
I just made him sound a little like Marvel.
Okay, anyways.
Marvin the Martian sounds like this. Whereas Dr. Strangelove is a little bit sort of similar in this part of the mouth, but it's a lot more...
It's like Marvin the Martian with a German accent, basically.
It's not too far off, man. Sorry, Jimmy.
My impression of Doctor Strangelove, everybody. I think it's kind of good. When Worlds Collide is a movie that is relentlessly melodramatic, has some pretty cool effect shots for the time, and has some interesting drama about like the process of deciding who gets to go and who has to stay and the preparation process. I'm gonna call it a B tier.
Cool.
It's all right.
That makes sense.
I liked it.
And finally, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Are we talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show with or without an audience?
Without an audience. Because that's only fair, because we watched the other ones without
an audience.
Yeah, that's fair.
With an audience.
Really?
Hot take. I hate watching this movie with an audience because they're all just shouting their really dumb jokes at the movie. I'm trying to watch a damn film here. If you're gonna shout a joke, at least let it be funny, but most of them are just things that rhyme. It's like, well done, you fucking know how to words work.
I love
Fucking kindergartners.
I love someone watches it and they try to appease Danny, and next time on Rocky Horror, they're just like, so what's the deal with airplane peanuts? You ever hear about this? They're just trying to make Danny laugh.
That would have been better.
Like as the movie's playing in the background.
I hate watching.
Trying their material.
It's kind of fun doing some of the dances, but like last screening I went to, I realized like this is why I don't do this anymore. Everyone's obnoxious, and they're not even gay. If it was overwhelmingly just a bunch of gay people being gay, I would not be anywhere near as irritated.
Did you see the
Rocky Horror has been fully absorbed by the straights.
Did you see the remake with Laverne Cox?
No, I heard it was all right.
Yeah. I don't think they should have gone Laverne Cox to play Frankfurter, because that's like not who Frankenfurter is, right? Because Frankenfurter is like a cis male transvestite as opposed to a trans woman, which is different.
Quite ambiguous. I think a trans woman as Frankenfurter shouldn't be like the way, but I think it is a way that works all right. It's like when they made Pinhead from Hellraiser a trans woman, and like, all right, that kind of works.
When did they do that?
The newest Hellraiser movie.
Pinhead was like just explicitly a trans woman?
No, but the actress was.
Oh, okay.
And because like, all right, Frankenfurter is from the planet transsexual in the transvestite galaxy or something. But like, that's the name of the star system. We always do refer to Frankenfurter with male pronouns, so
yeah, that's,
he, him pronouns.
That's what I mean.
Traditionally,
right?
yeah.
Also, Victoria Justice is in it.
She was on that thing with Ariana Grande, Victorious. Yeah.
Yes. Which
she has an absurdly cool name, but I'm told she's not really that talented.
Yeah, well, you know, that's why
Ariana Grande is famous now, and she's a former Disney Channel star.
Nickelodeon. Dude.
You're right, Nickelodeon.
Well, I mean, Ariana Grande is also a former Nickelodeon.
Yeah, but she's also Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
She's a current Ariana Grande star.
To be fair, I feel like this is my overarching theory that protagonists always suck. Because no one's favorite Star Wars character is Luke. No one's favorite
Mark
Harry
Hamill
Potter
had a
character
pretty
is
good career.
Yeah, but you know,
and Daniel Radcliffe has a better career now than he did
not
then.
as good as like, you know, Emma Watson, for example, right?
I don't know, Weird Al,
Yeah, but Emma Watson,
Swiss Army Man.
Yeah,
What was the last thing she was in that you saw?
Little Women.
Oh yeah, okay.
Anyways,
Poor Rupert Grint. They shouldn't have canceled Sick Note. That was a good show.
Rupert Grint was in. Last thing I saw Rupert Grint was it Knock at the Cabin?
Oh yeah, exactly. Poor Rupert Grint.
Yeah, not a good movie.
No, I heard that.
Um,
I don't want to blow anyone's minds here, but I think M. Night Shyamalan isn't very good at movies.
yeah, it's he makes a movie about I mean, he's the guy who made Signs, right? So it probably makes sense that because the whole point of the book was criticizing like homophobic Christianity.
Yeah, I'm
and,
told the movie kind of validates it.
yeah. The movie's like, you
No,
know what?
God wants you to die.
Yeah, no, you should kill your husband because God wants you to die.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not explicitly because they're gay, but it's very. The book was.
You can't help but pick up
Yeah,
on
you
it.
can't help but like pick up on the. Anyways,
Yeah.
what are we even talking about? It's not relevant.
That's okay. That's the fun of this channel. Is
Yeah,
just that
yeah,
we,
we just-
we spiral off into other subjects. So that was all the songs that are mentioned in the opening lyrics of in the lyrics of the opening song of the Rocky Horror Picture of the show.
And so, like we said earlier, Danny, do you want to go through and say which modern day movie is the most?
Yeah. All right. I'm tempted for Invisible Man just to say
We could do that.
the new Invisible Man.
Yeah, let's just do
feels like a cop out.
But no, but I feel like the new Invisible Man doesn't actually like
No.
is in the same space.
It's
as-
about a guy who is
they have
invisible,
different
but-
tones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. All right. What's a villain protagonist story about someone who cuts himself off from society?
Yeah, and someone who's like,
Recent-ish.
kind of like a. I'm gonna look at like the same tone, where it's like the main character is like a very. It's not a.
For King Kong, I am just gonna say Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Yeah, not Skull Island.
No, Skull Island is a Nam movie. They work in some like Apocalypse Now stuff in
yeah,
there, and in fact, much like Peter Jackson's King Kong, they work in some Heart of Darkness references. But they work a lot better in Skull Island than they do in Peter Jackson just having characters discuss Heart of Darkness.
Oh right, yeah. As for Invisible Man, so it's a villain protagonist who's like a huge asshole.
Morbius? I didn't see
Maybe
that.
Morpheus. Madam Web. Let's just say one of those. Megan, maybe. Yeah, I guess that like
That moment when he says it's invisible in time.
Invisible. Saw X. Yeah, maybe Saw X. Honestly,
I didn't see that, but okay.
because he's the protagonist. It ends. Well, I mean,
Yeah?
he's a villain.
Wonka. It's Wonka.
Yes, it's definitely Wonka.
No. All right, sure. Saw X. Saw 10.
What about I can't help you with these anymore.
For
Day the Earth.
Day the Earth, not the Keanu Reeves version of Day the Earth Stood Still, which does a very different ending that completely goes the opposite of the original. So
This is hard. This is a very hard challenge.
and it's hard to make movies that have this kind of like religious theming these days without making them as just like this is a movie for the Christians in the audience.
Yeah,
Just
I
like
mean,
this
I think-
mean culture war shit.
I think the equivalent would have to be like, if the Day the Earth still have to be like some sort of like sci-fi movie that's about like environmentalism or something. Because I don't think people make religious movies anymore.
Yeah, because
I think if
the religious stuff is there, but the intended takeaway of Day the Earth Stood Still isn't we should worship Jesus.
Yeah.
It's we should not build nukes.
I'd just say Avatar for the Day the Earth.
No, because it's all set on Earth. It's aliens come to Earth. Also, it doesn't suck.
The new one's pretty good.
For Day of the Earth, aliens come to Earth to tell us to watch over the environment better. The Happening. No, it's not The
But
Happening.
there are no aliens in it happening.
No,
so
there
trees.
It's the trees.
It's the trees.
All right, Happening is Day of the Triffids.
That fits so well, and it's right because it's not the equivalent. The modern day equivalent of it's the Soviets' fault is it's the oil company's fault. That's like the modern equivalent of that.
But it actually is the oil
yeah, but
company's
you know what I
fault.
mean. I mean,
I think the modern equivalent is it's the terrorists' fault.
well, not.
They don't make as many movies like that.
Yeah, they don't make as many of that anymore.
But Day of the Triffids does suck, and it does have a like mean you can't trust other people message to it that is a little bit along the lines of like I see you eyeing my lemon drink.
Is that from The Happening?
Yes, have you not seen The Happening?
No, thank you.
It's hysterically funny. I love The Happening. I can't think of anything for Day of the Earth Stood Still because they don't do these like benign aliens who want us to trust each other movies anymore.
I'm sure if we think about it really hard, there is one.
All right, what are some recent movies about first contact with
I don't know,
aliens?
Man of Steel.
Oh, fuck.
I guess that's like the closest thing.
It's not the movie First Contact, which is really scary.
I think Man of Steel is the closest thing. Like
Oh,
regardless
God.
of quality, it is like
I hope that new Superman movie they're working on is good.
Although Man of Steel is about Jesus. Yeah, Man of Steel.
All right, if Man of
the
Steel
day-
didn't
is the
suck.
most explicit.
All right, I'm so angry.
Movie to date the Earth that's still. It's
It came from outer space. It's not it. It's not it.
It's literally about an it that comes from outer space.
It is a remake of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Everybody knows that.
Okay, so it has to be about like
Came from outer space.
paranoia.
It's about paranoia. It's about ambiguity.
bodies.
Okay. Not set in the desert. Doesn't have aliens in it.
But there's the isolation sense.
yeah.
and people being
But this is a
paranoid.
whole damn town. This isn't one or two. This isn't a house party's worth of people.
I'm just looking at my letterbox, see if I can think of anything. The movie Host, which is about COVID.
Oh, not The Host, which is
No.
about a big tadpole who eats people.
Yeah, which
That movie's really good.
Midsommar is about a town.
Yeah, but Midsommar is folk horror, not sci-fi. Midsommar is terrible, not good. And Midsommar, there's got to be a third thing. Man, I am saying some controversial things in this episode.
Wait, Aquaman 2, could that be a good version of the day there? Well, no, they're not aliens, but
No, but sure.
Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 2, this globe-trotting... Aquaman 2 is Flash Gordon.
Oh. No, because I was gonna say because the end of Aquaman 2 is literally him speaking to the world.
That's true.
We need to, come together.
That's
to-
true. That is exactly how Day of the Armistice still ends.
Right.
Except at the end of Day of the Armistice, after he's addressed everyone, it's Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie. It's I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Okay, so Annihilation, would that fit? It's about something that comes to Earth and then there's
Yeah, but in Annihilation, like, we're journeying into it.
Yeah.
In this, the driving tension of It Came from Outer Space is, can we trust this weird consciousness?
Right.
Arrival? Yeah, let's say Arrival.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like the ambiguity
Yeah.
of the... Sure, Arrival.
What's next?
Night of the Demon, probably It Follows.
Sure.
Something like...
I've completely forgotten.
It's
what you
one
said
of those
about it.
movies where, like, this weird, like, hard-to-perceive thing is just following you and you know, like Carnival of Souls or Final Destination, one of these movies where someone is being pursued by a curse, a force, a nameless, shapeless thing.
Would Us work for It Came from Outer Space? Maybe
Not really.
Because there's not really paranoia. They are just like, very clear.
Yeah, Us is more a remake of Chud.
Yeah.
That's why you can see a VHS of Chud at the beginning.
Okay, so.
Dr. X.
Lisa Frankenstein?
It's more like a whodunit.
More of a whodunit.
It's a sort
Bodies,
of...
bodies.
Yeah, okay. It's kind of a spooky whodunit. Sure, Bodies is the closest we're going to get.
We mentioned bodies.
In Bodies,
so
Bodies,
many
Bodies, there is a lot of... And it's already a repetitive title, and we're bringing it up a lot. There's that one girl who keeps speaking in, like, quasi, like, mental health lingo.
Right, yeah.
Like, you are so toxic. That is so valid. And I'm pretty sure somebody in Dr. X was a psychiatrist.
Oh, yeah, okay, that
But,
works.
like, a real one. But he was also insane, because they're all insane.
Forbidden Planet. Oh, Lion King 2019. As the modern day, like,
Go on.
Shakespearean adaptation that's not really... Or the new Sydney Sweeney movie, Anyone But You, which is an adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing.
There's, like, I keep seeing posters for a Sydney Sweeney movie that looks like a horror film.
Oh, yeah.
Immaculate.
That's so funny to me because it's like Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, her
It's
name
like-
is bigger than
Yeah,
the
yeah.
title of the movie.
No,
I don't even know who Sydney Sweeney is.
But it's really funny to me because it's like, could you imagine if you see like a horror movie where it's like this bloody face and it's Robin Williams? You know what I mean? Like something like that. Someone who's mostly
Yes,
known
it's
for...
called Insomnia.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? It's like someone that's
Yeah.
not known for... And
Is
their
she
name-
mainly a comedy actress?
Yeah, well, comedy and high school. She's
Right.
not a great actress. Anyways, Forbidden Planet. I'm gonna say Lion King 2019. That's my...
All right.
Just because it's a Shakespearean adaptation.
We're not going to say like The Hollow Crown or something. Like,
Well, no, those are
something
explicit.
good. Yeah, all right. It's the West Side Story remake, but in space.
We've gotten so far away from
Yeah.
horror.
Forbidden
and
Planet
sci-fi.
is an adventure on another planet. Maybe that's Avatar. I don't know, because it's... Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know. When worlds collide, I guess the nearest equivalent is Armageddon.
Oh, I was gonna say.
It's better. It's way
I was
better.
gonna say the movie. What's the movie
Oh,
called?
Melancholia.
No.
Because they're both about big celestial things just absorbing the Earth.
What's the movie? It's like this indie movie set in Connecticut about a girl who like killed a guy's family in a hit and run, and then Another Earth. I was gonna say Another Earth.
Do they go to another planet in that?
Yeah.
It's like a Noah's Ark in space kind
No,
of
no,
thing?
it's like, and then another Earth appears, and she's like, oh, in that other Earth, because I was looking at the other Earth when I had the car crash. That means on that Earth, because they were looking the opposite direction at this Earth, they didn't kill the family.
That sounds more like
that
about parallel
person's- So that
timelines,
person's
though.
life was completely different. So I want to go there to meet the version of myself that didn't ruin her life by killing that family.
All right, well,
Anyways.
sounds like a very different film. It sounds more like about parallel timelines. That's an interesting premise. Is this a good movie?
I think it's a good movie. People complain about it, but
All
I
right.
think
Sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's Armageddon or something.
yeah, okay, Armageddon.
Flash Gordon.
Gordon.
I think the Aquaman movies have a lot of more than 1980 Flash Gordon.
I think
but
we need to pick a TV show for Flash Gordon. Like, what's a science fiction TV show that's like...
fucking La Brea.
Oh, no, you know what it is? You know what's the modern day equivalent of fucking Flash Gordon? The Flash. Like, seriously.
Explain.
It's like a super long
Because he can run really fast. That sounds more than John Carter of Mars.
No, it's like
than-
a sci-fi... I mean, okay, what else is there? I guess, like...
I haven't seen the Flash. Like, is Gorilla Grodd in it?
Yes.
All right, is he fun?
Yes.
Good.
Okay, this isn't the Flash, but it's the same universe. There's this... Gorilla Grodd travels back in time
Good.
to fight... I don't know what I don't remember what plot it is, but he was like wanting to like attack. You're not gonna guess who it is. Young President Obama. You see, there's this clip on you can
What?
see it where President Obama's like in his college dorm and a Gorilla Grodd breaks in.
And they've cast like an actor who looks kind of like young Obama.
I think so, something like that. But it's
Okay.
Barack Obama, it will almost be an honor to kill you. Time to make America Grodd again.
Gorilla Grodd.
yeah, that's an actual thing. Anyways, yeah. So Flash Gordon, it's the Flash.
All right. Wild.
Tarantula, or actually no, you know what? That
Sting.
show. Sorry, I just want to say
the upcoming film Sting.
Yeah, I think so.
Not Sting, the pro wrestler who just retired.
I just want to clear it. Flash Gordon, not Flash. Legion. What is it? Legends of Tomorrow. That's the show. That's like Flash Gordon.
Okay.
Because the Flash is isolated to his town.
Yeah, Central
But-
City?
Yeah. But Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of
I'd watch
Tomorrow.
that
Legends of Tomorrow. They travel around like
Yeah.
space and time. So that fits more
Alright.
for Flash Gordon. Anyways, Tarantula. Yeah, the Sting. What's the
Not
modern?
the Sting. That's about
Yeah.
con artists.
What's the modern day equivalent?
The modern day equivalent of The
Rocky-
Sting is the the TV show Hustle.
What's the modern day equivalent of Rocky Horror Picture Show?
The
You know
one
what
with
it is?
Laverne Cox.
I don't want to say a remake. Oh, you know what it is? It's the Eras tour because you watch it, people shout out things and they throw stuff. Because like all these old concert movies where you get a bunch of like rowdy fans in a theater, that's like the closest thing to a
Okay.
or like The Room where you get a bunch of rowdy. You know, like those ones where
Yeah.
you have a bunch of people shouting stuff
Yeah.
at the screen. Something
And
like
the
that.
Room screenings are less insufferable than Rocky Horror screenings, but there probably will be in a good 10, 20 years.
Yeah,
Day of the Triffids, I
Happening.
guess it's The Happening.
it has to be The Happening.
Ah,
Those damn communists.
The Happening is a better movie than Day of the Triffids.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's a more entertaining film.
And Revenge of Dr. X here is Lisa Frankenstein, although I argue it's much better than
No, because Lisa Frankenstein is...
It builds a body, right? Builds a
Well,
body.
she makes a handsome zombo, but she doesn't make a giant, like, crinoid stem that eats people. And also, she's like a teenage goth girl and not like a grouchy middle-aged man who with
That's
a
the
fetish for Japanese women.
That's the equivalent of...
God, he's such a sleazy, unlikable character.
Um,
He's always complaining and being rude to people.
there's this movie called The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, which is like,
I've heard of that.
what if we do like Frankenstein, but like hidden figures, you know? So it's like, it teaches young black girls that they too can become scientists, but in this case it's
Alright.
mad scientists. It's actually a
Mad
really-
science is for everyone.
Yeah.
We need more women in... It's called M-STEM. Mad science technology.
Yeah, yeah. It's honestly like, I don't know, I love it.
All right. Sounds interesting.
Anyways, I just want to give a shout out to at some point, me and Danny are going to do a ranking of. I'm going to watch every Frankenstein adaptation. We're going to do a ranking.
Oh, I'm down.
Anyways, okay, so that's our ranking. Do you want to move anything around here?
Let's do our final summations. So, Invisible Man, marvelous film. I should watch that again. It's really good. King Kong, classic. Little dated in some ways, but still a classic. Day of the Earth Stood Still is really fucking good. Came from Outer Space is really fucking good. Night of the Demon
As good as...
is a low A tier, but it's still an A tier.
You don't want to move it to high B?
Nah,
You're sure?
it's
Okay.
low A.
Oh,
It's
okay.
good. It's very good. It's a classic. It's Jacques Tourneur who directed like Cat People. I found Cat People honestly kind of slow, but that's the movie where he got his wish and you never see the cats. And maybe they were right actually to make us see the demon in Night of the Demon. Maybe that did make it better because I found Cat People a little not enough payoff. Dr. X is solid B. Forbidden Planet is a big fucking spectacle movie, and it's
Right.
alright. It's fun. When Worlds Collide is decent. I was a little not sold on it in the first 20 minutes, but it grew on me.
Right.
Flash Gordon, I am gonna bump it up to B.
Okay.
I like Flash Gordon. It's silly. And the 1980 Flash Gordon would be so far in S tier, like I said, that everything else would have to be bumped down at least one spot.
So if you had to erase from existence Flash Gordon 1980, The Invisible Man, or King Kong, you pick everything except Flash. Like if you had to pick one and everything else gets erased, you pick Flash Gordon.
Oh boy, I mean the influence of King Kong, like so many movies influenced by it that I adore, but Flash Gordon, savior of the universe, just marvelous film.
Okay.
Tarantula it's all right. It's one of the better giant bug movies of the 50s. It's not them, but it's pretty good. Rocky Horror, just the movie. It's kind of a mess, but the songs are really catchy.
Right.
Day of the Triffids is a nasty and unpleasant film. And Revenge of Dr. X has a screenplay by Ed Wood, but none of the charm of his directorial work. It's kind of fun.
Cool. And now, so that's the end of our video. But after this video, Danny's gonna go back and listen to the modern movies that we listed, and he's gonna rewrite the movie from Rocky Horror, but with those movie titles instead, and make
Wait,
it rhyme.
I'm going to do what?
You're gonna go back and see what modern movies we.
Oh,
said.
and rewrite the song?
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be... No, I'm not.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna do that.